Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm not sure what time of the day it is. You know how I said we weren't going to cook anymore? Yeah, we are. Because we forgot one very important dessert item that we will be eating Christmas Day, and there are some things that need to be made ahead of time. And that is the Christmas trifle. Now, we are partial to a ladyfinger trifle. Some people use other cakes.
Controversial.
It's controversial. We use ladyfingers. We also like a berry trifle, raspberries specifically. And sadly, the reason we like a berry trifle is because that's the kind we can get at Tesco's. But that's the kind of trifle we're going to make because that's the kind of trifle at least Grayson and I fell in love with in the UK. We've never asked David what his favorite trifle is, but he's really in it for the Christmas pudding, and we're absolutely not. So this is our equivalent of a Christmas pudding. What we need to do, some of this is going to have to be off camera because we're doing this from scratch, and this is a little bit of a complicated process. The first thing we need to do is do a vanilla custard, and that takes stove and lots of milk and cream. So I'm going to mix it into this pan, and then I'm going to take it off camera and bring it to a simmer. So we need, and this is very important, except the gelatin instructions are on top, that's not helpful. We need 2 pints of milk, and I'll put the link to this recipe below. We are doubling it and the gelatin because we're filling this little bad boy on its maiden trifleage. And here, I'll hold it up. There. This little trifle bowl that I have just acquired. Well, I acquired it last year and it's not been used. We need 2 pints of milk. And just as a heads up, a pint in the US is different from a pint in the UK. A pint in the UK is 20 ounces, not 16. So, 20 ounces of milk. Well, we're doing 2 pints, so we need 40 ounces of milk. Ooh, there's a bit of the glug.
Oh, God.
We do like the glug. We're tight on this, so we may have to fill in. There's 1 pint. Yeah, we're gonna put in a little extra cream to make this tastier. There, 1.5 pints.
A little over.
So we're gonna need
Second cream.
yeah,
She calls for 2 ounces of cream.
oh no, so we just need
The one.
1.5. Yeah, this is fine. 1. There's our 2 pints. Just make sure our 2 pints. This is gonna be up to the top though, and then 2 more ounces. We're fine. 2 ounces of cream. We have a little extra because of our refrigerator. We stock cream. We don't stock milk in the house because mostly our life is wrapped around drinking coffee and lattes and heavy cream. So that is why. Handy Danny Grayson, would you put that back in the fridge? All right. So we have 2 pints of cream. We have 2 ounces of, we have 2 pints of milk. We have 2 ounces of heavy cream, give or take. And then 1 vanilla pod. And we're going to take this over to the stove, and we're going to, on low heat, bring it to a simmer to heat it up. Okay, well, my handy dandy assistant Grayson is back there stirring our ever warming to simmer milk, cream, and vanilla mixture. I'm going to get started with the egg yolk mixture. So here I have 8 very lovely egg yolks that I've separated out from the egg whites, which I'm happy about because I wanted to make some meringues, and now I don't feel so guilty. I need a spatula. And we're going to mix that with, I'm going to scrape this in here so we get all of its lovely yolky goodness. I'm going to mix that with 2 ounces of 2 ounces of sugar. In the UK, if you're in the UK, leave it.
No, what are you doing?
Thank you. Now I get to start over. We were fine. We are taking care of it. Okay. Now I get to start over. All right, so I have, while handy dandy assistant Grayson is over there stirring our milk, cream, and vanilla pod mix, I have here 8 egg yolks, 2 ounces of sugar. In the UK, they call for castor sugar. It's kind of difficult to get in the US, but castor sugar is just the tiniest bit less coarse than American sugar, I think we'll be fine.
Baking sugar.
Yeah,
It's baker's sugar.
it's baker's sugar. Yeah, it's the equivalent of baker's sugar. And then I need 4 teaspoons of they call it corn flour. In the U.S., it's cornstarch. And I'm going to mix that together with a whisk because when this hot milk gets done, we will be using this whisk to blend it in without making omelet. So we'll have to be quite quick in our mixing process. Sometimes for ice cream they temper this stuff, but this recipe doesn't call for it, so
We should temper it anyway.
we're gonna... You think we should temper it anyway? So put some in a bowl.
Or just add a little bit of the hot milk to the yolks and whisk it in. And then...
Yeah, we can do that. We'll do a little tempering, despite the fact that Mary Berry says it's not, doesn't say talk about it. I also got a great big bowl so that we can really get to town on this. Normally when I've made custard before, we put all of this into the pot and heat it up, so it's interesting to do it this way. Oh, well, we are going to put this back in the pan, actually. Pour the milk into the eggs, whisking, return to the pan. Add vanilla. Oh, there you go. Yeah, we are going to put it back in the pan. So largely this custard making process is not going to be on camera. Mostly because it's awkward to move everything over to the stove. We'll temper for you though. Okay, so we're going to temper these eggs. We just don't trust Mary.
Nope.
So 1/2 cup-ish of the milk mixture.
1/4 cup.
1/4 cup.
Whip.
We're going to start whipping quickly into our mixture. Nobody wants eggs in their custard.
Scrambled eggs in there.
No, yeah, we want eggs. We don't want them scrambled. Yeah, that's why I put it under there. I have to bring it up. You want to start pouring, or are you going to keep doing this the whole time?
I think we're good now.
Heated up the eggs.
Switch sides. I'm right-handed.
Oh, okay. Ready? Yeah, I'm left-handed, so I set Grayson up for my left-handedness. Oh, and then now
Stir.
I can't stir with my right hand.
Go.
Here, do you want me to do it?
Go.
There. If we can just leave it like this, we're good. You have a stream of cream if you can't see it, or milky cream.
That's a bad idea.
What?
Me pouring from higher.
Closer to you. I think you
Nope. Still a bad idea.
just pour faster. I think we're good now. Are you sure that arm's better for you?
No.
There.
I'm just weak.
I think you were better on the other side. All right, so we've tempered the eggs, we've mixed the eggs, the sugar, the vanilla, and we have one last task to do before we throw this back on the stove and simmer it until it's thick, and that's to scrape out the vanilla bean. Mary says throw it in some castor sugar and make vanilla sugar.
We're not going to do that.
We're not going to do that. We're going to take all the vanilla goodness and stick it in this custard. I'm going to keep whipping while we do
There's
it.
a large knife.
So we're going to split the... you've probably seen all the chefy people do this. Split the vanilla bean down the center and then scrape it out. And then after this, it's just stirring on the stove until it thickens.
Ooh, full.
Good. This is going to be so vanilla-y. And sometimes it's just worth it to make things from scratch, as much of a pain in the backside as it can be.
Damn cat.
It's also better to use a bigger bowl. I always used to be stingy with my bowls, but then you end up spilling half of your food on the counter. Okay, is there any more to be had, or is that
Yes,
half?
there's a whole nother half of these.
Ooh, nice. So we're gonna have nice, seedy we'll have some seedy custard. Okay. And this has made a lot of custard, so we're gonna have a nice custardy trifle, which
How I like it.
yeah, we're both in it for the custard, so we're good. We're happy about that.
Get all of it.
Get it all?
Good idea.
All right, ingredient in our trifle is raspberry gelatin or Jello, and again, we're doing this from scratch. So the first thing I need to do is basically make a raspberry jam, raspberry coulis. And what I've got poured into here is and we're gonna do a recipe and a half, basically, because that's the amount of raspberries I have. I took 2 bags of frozen raspberries and half of a pack of fresh raspberries. So we're mixing this together. So this will be 6 half pints of raspberries, a cup of water, and then I'm gonna add in, I mixed all this. I'm gonna add in a cup of sugar. I'm gonna add in a cup of sugar and actually 3/4 of a cup of sugar. And I'm gonna cook it over the stove until the berries are squished up and juicy. They say to strain out the seeds. I kind of like my Jello with seeds in it, so we may leave those in. We'll consult with Grayson and decide whether that's what we want to do.
Yeah, leave the seeds in.
Yeah.
Do you want to multiply your recipe on the paper?
Okay, so we have finished custard, and don't worry if it feels really runny still, because the way you test your custard is put your spatula in, pick it up, and see how that custard is sticking to the spatula and it's not dripping off. That means we're thick enough for this. This is gonna solidify quite nicely. Like a good gravy. So we're gonna transfer this into a bowl and refrigerate. Normally you would serve this hot, but for a trifle, we are going to be layering. It's kind of a leftovers thing. So we're gonna layer this with the raspberry gelatin, the custard, the lady fingers, and some whipping cream. But that will come later when it's all assembled separately. So our custard is done. My fruit, sugar, raspberries, sugar, and water have cooked and kind of come to a boil. I just wanted to make sure that the sugar was dissolved and that the berries were sort of macerated. Now what I'm doing is I am heating up in my kettle to boiling at 100 degrees C 1 cup of water, and I'm going to mix it in with 2 packets of unflavored gelatin. Now this is the part where I wouldn't blame you at all if you bought prepackaged Jello, but again, we're trying to do a Christmas with no artificial flavors and things, so we're gonna give it a whirl. All right, here's my 1 cup, and I pre-measured it before I put it into the kettle. So we have 1 cup of water, and I'm gonna sit here and I am going to, just like the Jello packet does, stir my unflavored gelatin until it dissolves. And then we're gonna add it back into this and put it on the stove just for a little bit so that it's well mixed on heat. I'll know when this is ready because it goes from like a cloudy to a little yellow toned, but clear, not opaque anymore. There, so we've gone from opaque to a little yellowy, but see-through. And let me just tell you, this does not smell like Jello. It's not the sweet sugary, it smells like gelatin. A little gluey, in fact. All right, so I am clear, I'm dissolved. I'm gonna pour myself into this raspberry mixture with raspberry and sugar mixture and disperse it well. And then I'm gonna put it on the stove just to make sure it's well blended under some heat. And then this is ready for the fridge. I'm gonna put this aside to cool down just a little bit before we stick it in the fridge. 5 minutes, just enough so that I can touch the pan with my bare hands. And our custard's cooling, and... Let me talk to you.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next step is to line your trifle bowl or your glass bowl, because you know you want to see this, with lady fingers.
Got it.
And not drop them on the floor. Do you think we can? No. Oh,
Oh my
sorry.
God.
Well, I was going to try and do them that way, but it won't work.
No.
Try to do it as tidy as possible. We're all about the flavor and not about the presentation necessarily, so we're just going to shove them in the bottom and then maybe up. They'll be pretty on the sides. I hope we have enough. We debated. I have never made a trifle and not had leftover ladyfingers. So the question is,
2 packs.
the question is this the right amount or not? And I'm never right. So we'll see. Well, it'll be enough this time, regardless of whether it's not enough. Well, we're about a package at the bottom. That bodes well for the sides,
These
but
are not the right size.
no, we need a different size bowl. What if you put them this way on the sides?
Well, yeah, we can
Can it
do that,
happen?
but we're not going to have enough Jello to soak them all the way.
Oh,
We don't
yeah.
have that much Jello.
So maybe we should just do
We could
2
break
layers.
them. Do you want to cut them in half?
No. Well, I guess we could cut them in half and then put the curvy side up.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Okay, let's do that. Thinking on the fly. Here's this. And
Because then I can cut some in half to fit the bottoms.
and our vanilla knife.
We got holes.
We got holes.
We got holes.
Ooh. It's okay if they buckle because they'll squish when we pour the Jello on. Exactly in half. Nope. Watch it all go.
Yeah.
Pour the Jello in.
I know. I'm going to go to all this work and it's not going to matter. We're not going to have enough to go around the outside, are we?
Yeah, I think so. Once you cut them all in half, I love leftovers. I'm gonna eat a ladyfinger though.
They're gross plain.
Yeah, alright, we're sweet. I really want to get my Jello in the fridge though.
Right.
It's alright, it'll fit. You can put that one in a corner.
There are no corners.
No, I mean like right there.
No.
No. Oh, but there. That
That's
works.
too tall.
That's alright. It doesn't have to be exact height-wise. Yay, it's so pretty. We can use them as decoration on the top.
I was just going to throw them in the bottom.
Oh, okay. Yeah, double layer. Yeah, that works for me. The reason you wouldn't necessarily want them in the top is part of the draw for this is the squishy Jello infused bread that you get at the bottom of your trifle.
Good stuff.
So we'll definitely want to pour this on wetter than gel. So we're just letting it cool down in the fridge and we'll come back as soon as it's cool enough to pour over. Alright, after cooling off, and this is just, it's not even room temp yet. It's cooled off just enough in the
Still
fridge.
steaming.
Huh?
Still steaming.
Well, I can touch the sides
Yeah.
and leave my hand on it now. So we're going to pour it in here. And the reason we're doing this is because we want this to soak into these ladyfingers.
They should be soggy.
They should be soggy. It's gentle. So there we go. That looks good. And all the bits are good. We have a few floaters.
Oh, they're all gonna float.
And the Jello hit me.
Oh.
Again. It's okay.
Oh, there they go.
And we're going to do a 1 layer here. You can get fancy and do multi-layers, but the traditional one is a layer of Jello, a layer of cream, fruit, and then whipping cream at the top. So this is going to go into the fridge, and I don't even need to scrape that.
No, but I'm gonna push them down.
Yes. Well, you can do it with just the edges.
I'm
I
not
think they're going
afraid.
to float no matter what.
Well, yeah, but they should be.
Got a tickly nose now. Just to get them to float into the Jello. Put all of them in.
You.
So that they soak. Oh yeah, this is gelling up. Oh, look at them they're wimping.
Yep,
I
they
can-
should be.
They're
Real quick.
disintegrating right now.
Which
We're
they
pushing down and getting them into the gelatin.
Yeah, don't panic when they fall apart. They're supposed to.
Yeah. And we don't want a crunchy layer, so that's why we're doing this. We want them well soaked. But they are pretty.
Okay.
All right, now this is going to go in the refrigerator until it gels fully. They're floating again.
Yep.
There. Until it's Jello solid.
It's pretty solid already.
All right, this is day 2, although you'll get this all right in one succession. We went to bed for the night with our gelling ladyfingers and raspberry handmade Jello in the bowl. And let me just lift this up. We now have very gelled ladyfingers, and also they've gotten soft too. We have our Mary Berry, put that aside. We have our Mary Berry custard. We tasted this last night, and in the instructions I'm going to recommend that you add another couple ounces of sugar. Mary is very cautious with the sugar, and we felt like even less sugar than Bird's custard, and I personally, because I'm from the US, find Bird's custard not very sweet. So we found that interesting. We do think we have a solution for that though, because we're going to use it as is. We have some fresh raspberries to go between the layers and to decorate the top. Excitedly, I even found a raspberry with a top. So I'm going to save this guy for the crowning, very tippy top of the trifle. And then before that, the third ingredient in our trifle is whipping cream. Now, I just showed you the brand, but I didn't show you the brand.
We're proud of Gary.
We're proud of Gary. We love Gary. If Gary were ever to offer me an advertising deal, I could gladly advertise for this beautiful company.
Gary's Meadow Fresh Cream.
Yes, we're working on we're working on our advertising tone. This is a local dairy. There are other local dairies in other towns. I know that we have, I can't remember the name. There are 2 dairies in Tucson where we have another place in the winter. And both of them, oddly, because I didn't realize this till recently, whipping cream never comes without additives unless you look very, 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 very hard. So mostly it's either carrageenan or gelatin. Those 2 items they put into your whipping cream, and it's to help things whip faster. But it's a seaweed additive, and you know, like is the theme this Christmas, why put in extra stuff, that isn't food, if you don't have to. So we go to Gary's because this is out of the cow cream. It's interesting when you start using out of the cow cream, and I'm going to start pouring this in, that the viscosity of your cream changes with the season. In the summertime, this is different runniness and different clottedness than in the wintertime. Now I'm going to make whipped cream, a whole pint, and then the little bit that's left over here. The little bit that's left over here, excuse my phone. But, oh, and look at these cows. This batch that we've had in the last couple of days, these cows their grass is very rich, I think, because we've been getting a lot of butter fat in our cream. And the thicker the cream, the nicer the glug. And we'll see. Did you see that? There. So glugs of fat that come out with your cream. Because you know what? This makes for the good whipping cream. We want the good whipping cream. I don't know if Grayson realizes this, but I tend to whip whipping cream to butter. I'm not very good at it. Usually I have somebody else do it. So I'm going to have to be very careful to call it sooner than I normally do. There. We're going to add a little bit of sugar, about a tablespoon. And we're just going to turn our beaters on it and whip in all the noise that can happen with a beater. Let's get the butter down in there. I'm putting a teaspoon in, but I'm using this.
that through.
If only you guys could see. Oh my gosh. So Grayson was in charge of turning on the camera, and we do this thing where we clap our hands so that we have a timestamp when the camera stops. Only Grayson had the spoils of our
It's only one
rewards, and when one claps with whipped cream on a stick in their hands,
it goes everywhere.
oh, this is good now. So we upped our sugar to 2 tablespoons, a solid 2
Little bit more,
tablespoons,
yeah.
even a little more. We'll go 2 heaping tablespoons.
Yeah.
And I have discovered a couple of reasons why you want sugar in your whipping cream. We don't often put sugar in our normal everyday whipping cream, but it helps a ton. The stuff is nice and firm now, and before it was. The downside to natural, yeah, I've got a little fuzz in mine too.
Yeah, what's going on?
There's a little cow hair in there.
No, I think it's from the towel.
Oh yes, it probably is from the towel. I dried them off with a. Oh, that's tasty. The downside to whipping cream that doesn't have any additives is it doesn't, with no sugar, it doesn't go as firm as the stuff with additives, sadly. But I just am willing to pay that price for the price of good food. Roll on the counter there. All right, let's wash our hands and then let's talk about assembly.
Just do one.
All right, so here's my berries. There's little bits of
Little black bits.
well, it's vegetable. It's little branches and stuff. I'm just gonna sprinkle a few on. I want to save most of these for the top. I'm gonna sprinkle a few berries in the bottom. Just to have some berry in addition to our compote berry.
That's funny.
There, and then we got about that much left for the top. And then we have our Mary Berry. We put this in the fridge last night, and just so that it didn't form a skin, as is good practice with your custards, I put a piece of saran wrap down on it, not over the bowl, but down. I'm sorely tempted to just pour this all in.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna pour it all in. Oh, it's very custardy. Not as sweet. I think I already said that, didn't I? That we'd add more. We'd double the sugar.
I disagree with Mary Berry's sugar ratio.
Yeah, Mary Berry's sugar ratio is a bit not sweet enough. Now, we may revise that once we eat this, because sometimes having a little less sweet in one portion is made up for in the other portion. So,
But we made our own Jello this time.
we did make our own Jello, but it's the perfect amount of sweet.
Yeah.
So, yeah, not
It's
perfect.
more tart than usual.
It's a little
though,
more
so
tart
I think
than
it's gonna
usual.
Balance out.
And then whipped cream goes on the top. And normally we would not make this far ahead, but we're doing so for the sake of the video. We're sacrificing our super fresh
Cream.
whipped cream, because we could assemble this. The whipped cream is going to seep a little bit by Christmas Eve, so I think we should just start eating it sooner.
I don't think so.
Unlike
That's
your
against the
father, I
rules.
do not have rules.
You don't have Christmas morals.
I don't have Christmas morals. I am more than willing to sacrifice for the good of life and eat my stuff early. I open presents early too. I have no qualms about it.
Unbelievable.
If it comes in the mail, it's fair game. I'm holding firm this year just because of COVID, and I don't get to have people over on Christmas Day. All right, and we're gonna use all this. So I would whip up a pint of cream, but if you have a little extra, it's no harm because I'm using all of it. In fact, I could use a spatula.
There's one right there next.
Oh, you brought it, okay. Wow.
I put one over there. Did you move it and put it in the sink?
Oh, I used it for the cream.
Gotcha.
That's all right. I'm good. We can just lick this bowl out later too. There. All right. That's the cream layer, and then it's decoration time.
Spiral.
Spiral, you think, huh? Should I start in the center then?
Yes.
Well, if I'm starting in the center, this guy goes. Well, no, I'm going to put him on last. All right, we're going to start in the center and spiral out. I think I have
They look better when they're layered, but
There we go. Oh, I can't tip that. It's
No.
sloppy. But, well, and I think they taste the same.
they taste the same.
And I don't think it looks, I think it looks great, honestly. It looks perfect. We could have layered it, but then we'd have to do 2 days of Jello.
Nope.
Jelloing. We could have gelled in a separate one
Yeah.
and had like curdly Jello at one layer, or in a separate bowl and dumped it out. But
Yeah.
one layer is fine for us. This is my Christmas dessert. This is my Christmas dessert. I'm gonna eat it all by myself, and then when I'm carrying on being bad after Christmas, I carry on eating it. So David will eat his Christmas pudding, and I may pop in and show you how to make white sauce. But I can show you right now how to make a Christmas pudding. Let me show you how to make a Christmas pudding. Because this is all a Christmas pudding deserves in my book. This is how you make a Christmas pudding. You go to the store and you buy it. And it comes, can I open it? Is there a rule against opening it? It comes in a plastic bowl. It's ridiculous. Look at this. It looks like ramen. But yet this little bad boy, what is it gonna go in the microwave? Oh.
Boil it.
Oh, you boil
That's worse.
Even worse. You boil it. So, let's just have a vote here in the comments. In the comments. Trifle? Christmas pudding. Are you sure to reheat this? Because you're just going to reheat it. Do you just reheat it? Is that how you fix it? I don't even know how you're supposed to do it because I avoid it at all costs. You can speak on the camera. It's fine. You've spoken before. How do you prepare this for eating?
Float that in
Oh.
water and boil it.
Well, according to the instructions, it's put it in the microwave for 3.5 minutes or 3 minutes.
Heresy.
And then apparently you cover it with white sauce, which is basically gravy with no drippings, which I think is just an added abomination to the abomination that already exists in this plastic bowl. But let me just read the instructions for you. It's actually not bad. Sugar, water, wheat flour, calcium carbonate, which is baking soda, iron, niacin, and thiamine, so this is enriched flour, candied citrus peel, sugar, orange peel, sugar, lemon peel, citric acid is an acidity regulator, palm oil, I don't know what a humectant is. Oh, this is their humectant. Vegetable glycerin, mixed spices. Okay, I guess they're saying vegetable glycerin is their humectant.
Yeah.
I assume that's stopping it from getting too
I think it's a moisture lock.
moisture, yeah. Mixed spices, salt, lemon oil, orange oil, yeast. Oh, it's a yeast. There's a yeast. They have baking soda, but they also have yeast in it. Interesting. Anyway, it's not a horrible list of ingredients. I've read worse. I've read much worse, but I'm sorry. Please. No. No, 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 no. No, no, no. All right. That's it for today. I have given you this lovely Christmas treat and plenty of time for you to make one yourself. So go to Black Sheep and post if you make a trifle for Christmas. We can't put pictures onto YouTube, which I think...
Post it on Facebook.
Yes. You could go to the Black Sheep Facebook page, or you can go to the Black Sheep Instagram page, and I'll get those links down below. But definitely like this and I always say follow us, but that's Facebook. I don't know what it's called in home. Subscribe, that's what it is. And subscribe. I don't know why everybody behind the camera is afraid to say something when you and I both know they're all there. So why we won't speak out loud, I do not know. Subscribe and like and do all that stuff and comment, because come on, I'll answer them all. When there's only 5 of you following me, I could have entire exchanges with ya. Bye. See you tomorrow.